Previously on No Reserves Radio.
Oh my God, Angelo! Come on, have some self-respect. The Eagles can't hurt you if you don't constantly pander to them.
Here's the biggest indictment of Dame that I can say. Dame has been so off this year that Rehn went on live air and said Jalen Brunson deserved an all-star start over him.
You are now Angelo Didululo.
Do you think it is possible that the management of the Memphis Grizzlies are just buying into the reckless youth movement and they got rid of the one person in the locker room that probably was telling Ja to knock it off?
Because he's taken advantage of me multiple times when I was younger. That sounded bad. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think you're correct in that assessment.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to No Reserves Radio. I'm your host, Rehn. With me, as always, Angelo. With me, as semi-always, Austin. He's back from vacation. He's no longer a myth. Where to start? So I guess we should start with the NBA Finals because the season is officially over. And I feel like it's going to be better to just rip this Band-Aid off and get it out of the way early on the episode. The Boston Celtics.
Are you sure you don't want to predict the Mavericks to be the first team to come back down 4-1 now?
You know,
Sure you don't want to do that?
I would. I have no problem doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So, unless you've been living under a rock, the Boston Celtics did beat the Mavericks 4-1 in the NBA Finals. So, before we get to your quote-unquote victory lap, let's kind of just talk about the path to the finals for both teams. And it's kind of interesting because it felt...
We did that last week.
Yeah, we did kind of in passing, but I kind of want to, the Celtics had kind of an easy path, right? Like, everyone in the East was injured. We talked about that. And then on the flip side, the Mavericks kind of had a really challenging path. Do you think that
completely disagree with that?
Huh?
I agree that the Celtics were, circumstanced with luck, but the Mavericks, in a different way, also kind of had an easy path because it feels like every team they came up against, minus the Thunder, fucking disappeared against them.
Right.
But we talked about that.
But
the Timberwolves forgot how to play basketball after being the fucking Nuggets.
Would you stop yelling?
No.
Because I'm asking a specific question. I don't fucking care about that. There's a specific question I'm about to ask that I've been trying to ask since I started talking, and you do the interruption thing, and it's driving me insane.
Good. You better have plenty of alcohol today.
More so I'm asking Austin because Angelo's a lost cause. Do you think that the paths that each of these teams took to the NBA Finals played into the gentleman's sweep? Do you think that it's...
I mean, how many game sevens were there that each team had to be a part of?
Oh,
Boston
God.
didn't have any.
No, Boston didn't have any. They had, I think...
Did the Mavericks have any? The Mavericks may have had one.
I'm pulling it up now.
Yeah.
Because the Mavericks took out the Timberwolves in 6, if I'm not mistaken. They took out the Thunder in 6, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been just the first round.
The Mavericks won 4-2 against the Clippers, 4-2 against the Thunder.
So 6.
4-1 against the Timberwolves.
No, so neither team had a game 7. Yeah.
But so that's 6, 12, 17, 22 games as opposed to the Celtics 5, 10, 14.
Right, but the Celtics... Never mind.
The
So
Celtics...
the Mavs played 3 or 4 more games than the Celtics.
I don't think it played a huge part. I'm wondering if part of that, because even in those series, like even if a series doesn't go long or goes longer, like the quality of your opponent is going to have a little bit of wear and tear on a player. Like regardless, like you can have a sweep, but your opponent can
Maybe
play really well.
this shouldn't be a hot take. But quite honestly, I would rather be a team that gets into a lot of deeper series, assuming that I'm not getting injured, because it allows your team to collectively get warmed up, as opposed to being in 4 or 5 game series every matchup.
It's
I would favor the team that played more games. That's just me.
it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It depends. So I think it depends on a couple things. One, the age of your players. Older players have a harder time recovering. And just the physicality of those series. Like if you have
Neither
a
team
four,
was neither team was old. The oldest player was like Al Horford and PJ Washington on the other team. Those were the old guys.
Yeah, but Al Horford played a pivotal role as the big man since AP was out.
I think it's a double-edged sword. I think there's like some players would play better. Like it really just depends on the players on the teams individually, because some players play better with rest, and that comes down to the kind of argument for shortening the season, because players are playing a lot of back-to-backs, and on those back-to-backs they're getting hurt. So like, yeah, you're able to keep your legs warm to an extent. Like I don't really think there's much in that way. If you're getting shots up every day, which an NBA player is, having a couple days off shouldn't really impact the rhythm of a player. And they're going to go into a game a little more rested, potentially. Like, it really doesn't take that long to recover. I don't know.
So in football, there's this thing. So you don't know about football, but Austin knows this. The resting your players the final week of the season if you've secured the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Or do you know about this?
Yeah.
Okay, so in football, the teams that I forgot the last time they did this. I know it was at least 4 or 5 years ago, but the teams that rested their starters the last week of the season after securing a first seed, their record was like hovering around 500 in the playoffs. Like there was a lot of one and done teams who've done that. So what coaches do now, even if they've secured the 1 seed, is start their players and then they'll sit them in like the third or the fourth. So granted, this is a completely different sport, but there is some validity to the fact that you rather have your players on the field more often.
But I think I mean, it is a different sport, but I feel like basketball, you play multiple games a week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the finals.
But football is also more physical. So if there was a sport that recovery would matter more, it's that's the thing. Even in that sport, they rather play the people than have them rest that extra week.
But like, so barring
No, but what I was saying was, yeah, it's more physical, but also like if we rest them week 17 or week 18, and then you have the first week bye, you haven't played game level for 2 weeks. Where here you're only going to miss maybe 4 days.
That's it. That is completely incorrect. Because I could have swore Boston won that series quick in the Western Conference. It didn't feel like they didn't play for like almost 10 days. I actually do want to look that up. When was the last time Boston played in the Eastern Conference Finals versus the NBA Finals? I'm just curious.
Hold on, I have the game logs pulled up. I just have to scroll because.
I might be wrong. It might have just been 4 days and it felt like 10 days, but I'm just curious.
It wasn't as long as that. God, why it should sort in reverse? That would make more sense. So game 1 of the finals was June 6th. Oh, you were close. Last game of round 1 or round 3 was May 27th.
So they do have that kind of turnaround, Austin.
Yeah.
But
I forgot every other series they can do early. The finals is the one that have a predetermined date.
Yeah.
So my argument is in that, like, in the event of an injury, the extra rest in football would have a benefit. Absolutely. The fact that it's more physical, if you're not hurt, like if you do not suffer or sustain an injury, the extra rest doesn't do anything. Like, that's not how recovery really works. And it is two completely different sports. But these players are practicing at game speed every day, and they're staying in rhythm. You can't really play football at game speed every day in between games, right? Like, there has to be a lower level of physicality because you don't want your linebacker to run through your quarterback
and break a rib.
Yeah, there's a different level of physicality in practice. And basketball, they're like, you can go to pickup games right now and you're going to be playing a fully physical game. So I don't think that necessarily. I don't think.
At the same time, like, yes, your practice, you can play it at full speed, but you're also not going to be playing the same people you're going to be facing. So the defense that the Boston Celtics practiced in their setup into the Dallas Maverick is different than what the Dallas Mavericks actually did because they have different players with different skill sets and
Yeah, absolutely.
different levels of speed. So
I would rather have the extra time, the extra rest, personally, going into the finals.
I think it also depends on an experience too.
Yeah.
Like if you have like the first year players in the playoffs going to the finals, they're going to be sweating it a lot more than like Al Horford.
Granted, this was
Horford's.
This was Horford's first championship, and
I know it's his first championship, but like he's had a shit ton of playoff.
He was in the finals run the last time the Celtics made it against Golden State, wasn't he? I could have swore he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's been to a finals.
Yeah. So like
I think
he doesn't have that stress that a younger first year player would.
Yeah. What are they gonna do? Lose again? So Draymond actually had an interesting take in the playoffs. I actually would like to discuss this really quickly.
Go for it.
He said, I forgot who he was in an interview. I forgot who's interviewing him. But he said just flat out, because he was asked, would he rather lose in the finals or lose in the first round of the playoffs? And he said flat out, I would rather not make the playoffs at all if I'm going to lose in the finals. Do you agree or disagree with that sentiment?
So Draymond Green is probably one of the worst players in the league when it comes to posturing. No, of course you would rather make the playoffs than not. Like, that's...
So the second part of his point is, if you don't make the playoffs, you get 17 weeks between the season ending and then the next season starting. If you make the finals, it's 9 weeks. And if you make the finals and lose, you don't get the same excuse of they just won the championship. Of course, there's going to be hiccups coming into the next season, even though they've played the same amount of time and they got the same amount of rest in between the finals ending and the season starting.
I've never understood that side of an argument, like in any sport, barring injuries. Again, if you're a young shooting guard, right? You're 26-year-old cornerstone piece. If he needs 12 weeks to recover, if he needs 9 weeks to recover, something's wrong.
He needs to stop going to Kawhi Leonard for medical advice.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's such a long time.
Man.
That is
another story.
That is such an irrelevant point because if the season is over for that long, like, even if you've won the championship, you've gone on vacation, you've gone to Cancun, just like all the losing teams did. You've gone around and done all sorts of things. You've had plenty of time to rest. It's not like suddenly tip off of next season, you're still feeling a little tired from that fourth quarter 9 weeks ago.
That's probably a personal thing.
You know what, though? You might not feel physically tired, but I could definitely see you being mentally tired.
That long after, like after you've had, because again,
Yes.
These are professional athletes. Like 7 weeks probably, they get to just go do whatever the hell they want. They're multi-millionaires. They can do literally whatever they want. They want to rest in Malta, they can go rest in Malta. If you have that kind of access to resources and you're mentally tired 7 weeks later because of a basketball game,
that's what I'm saying. It's a personal thing.
That it's all in your head.
That's like, a lifestyle change.
Like if you have, like if you're mentally tired from a stressful circumstance, you lost a job, you had surgery, you had a family member come down with an illness, that's understandable. If you're mentally tired because you were playing a kid's game professionally 9 weeks ago, and you have hundreds of millions of dollars that you can just go do whatever you can go pay cash for a Bugatti, and you're mentally tired from a game 9 weeks ago. No. I in more physical sports like football or hockey, I would understand it a little more because you're gonna be put through a ringer of playoffs. Because the physicality in playoffs for all sports, but I mean, obviously with the exception of baseball, because there's not physicality in baseball except like plate-on-plate collisions, but I don't think that necessary. Does that
Those
increase?
Don't really even happen anymore.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Like running over the catcher, that's not illegal anymore.
So, like, can the catcher just kind of plant himself like a tree on the base path and, like, you're SOL?
You have to give the runner a path. No,
okay.
You can't.
Okay, so that was my question. So in those more physical sports, I would have more of an understanding because you're going to have minor injuries, and minor injuries can linger. But I still don't think, like, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, like, it's not going to make that big of a difference, and that's not an excuse going into the next season for the winning team or the losing team. Now, if you want to say, oh, they won the finals, and so they spent the last 9 weeks partying, and they have a little bit of a metaphorical hangover, sure. I get it. But in terms of, like, rest, like, but at that point, if you're not injured, you should be rested. Like, when was the last time you've been tired from doing an activity for more than a week? Like, that's not really how recovery plays out. Granted, they're putting a lot of physical stress on their bodies. I'm not denying that at all. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that's an excuse as a professional athlete. You can't be like, oh, we played 9 weeks ago and you only played 12 weeks ago. That's why you beat us. That's bullshit.
I agree.
But talking about the Thunder before, again, we're trying to get as much good conversation out of the way before Angelo takes over here. From the Mavericks' point of view, because the Mavericks got eliminated, and throughout this whole playoffs, Austin doesn't know this, but throughout this whole playoffs, every team that's been eliminated, we've kind of talked about, like, what's next for them. Like, where do they go from here? What are the next steps to either improve the team or improve the circumstances of the team going into next season? Because that could mean blow it up and build your future assets. That doesn't improve your odds of winning, but it improves your circumstances. Obviously, the Mavericks should not blow it up. They just made the NBA Finals. But I feel like there are certain personnel changes that they need to address. Just looking at the last game, Luka Doncic had 28 points. He was the only player to score above 15. This team is in desperate need of secondary scoring. Obviously, Kyrie Irving should be that guy, but apparently against the Celtics, since he stepped on Lucky, he's like 1-14 against the Celtics.
Yeah.
The problem is the Mavericks don't have a lot of assets to flip, and this is not necessarily the strongest free agent class. I saw a rumor that they're starting the processes of shopping Tim Hardaway Jr.
No, same Tim Hardaway Jr. you thought were going to be the savior of the Dallas Mavericks. That Tim Hardaway Jr.
No,
The semblance of
I
shooting.
said if he shoots like that in the next game is what I said, because he ended a game 5 for 5 from 3.
Yeah. What did he finish Game 5 with? 1 for 5.
Game 5, he didn't play, did he?
Oh, the savior was on the bench the whole game. Interesting.
But obviously the issue is Tim Hardaway Jr. is a quality role player, but he's not going to get you a piece that moves the needle.
Apparently not in the NBA Finals.
He doesn't get you a piece that's going to move the needle necessarily. Do you remember when Angelo was like, we had a whole episode titled "The Cornet Contest"?
Yep. Cornet has a ring technically, and he got minutes in that last game.
He played 2 minutes. He had a rebound.
He got minutes. He got more minutes than Tim Hardaway Jr.
Interestingly, so Peyton Pritchard only played a minute in that game.
Yep.
Was Peyton Pritchard not really play? No, he played 22
they threw him in for half court heaves.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. But besides that, like, what do you think this Mavericks team needs besides secondary scoring? Because like that's the most glaring issue for me. I don't think
teams to forget how to play basketball.
They don't need to forget. Like, the Pacers were 3 games, 3 calls away from making the NBA Finals. The Pacers would have beat the
Mavericks.
I don't think so.
I know so.
Jesus Christ. Is this how this entire off season's going to be?
Yeah, at least today.
God. Okay.
So what I think the Mavs need 3-point shooting.
Oh, desperately.
Every game they lost, they were outshot in 3 points by at least probably 10 shots.
You have to surround Luka with better shooters.
Yeah.
And again, that should be Kyrie, but he stepped unlucky and bad juju.
Bad juju. Right.
And so do you just want to go away? Just go ahead and go on your.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
No. Because you said you were going to do the intro this week.
Yeah.
Get it out of
your
system.
No. It's all good. It's all good. Continue.
Get it out of your system.
No. You're not worthy. You're not worthy of it right now. So keep going. Let's talk about the Lakers. Talk about the Thunder.
Why are we talking about the Lakers?
Why are we talking
I thought you wanted to move past the Mavericks.
Even if we're moving past the Mavericks, why are we talking about the Lakers? Oh, JJ. Right.
Yeah. Anyway, Mavericks.
I don't think he's worth it, but okay.
Wow.
So,
I mean, he probably could have helped the Mavericks beat the Celtics. Anyway, go on.
It's fine. At least the Mavs made it.
Aww. I hate it.
So, an interesting observation from this season. Every year in the NBA Finals, the Finals have featured a player that averaged more than 300 turnovers, right?
Mm-hmm.
This season, Luka Doncic led the entire league at only 282, which is the lowest in a full season in NBA history. So teams this season were more efficient offensively. Do you think that's a trend that continues? And do you think that's because we are seeing less dribble drives and more just pull-up threes from 90 feet away?
Not on the Mavericks, apparently.
Are you going to participate at all?
Honestly, I think the talent pool is just keeps getting better. Honestly,
But
Like,
shouldn't that
how
hold true from both sides? Like, if the
Yeah.
talent pool is getting better offensively, shouldn't that be? Because we're saying that talent pool is getting better because of advanced metrics, advanced nutrition, advanced
kinda.
like understanding of the human body. Like, that's what athletes are. Shouldn't it be rising at the same rate? And we are seeing better defense. I'm not going to say we're not.
So, where do more turnovers happen? They generally happen like closer to the painted area,
I wonder
right?
if there's a heat map.
That is a good question, but I would assume they're tied in closer to the paint because you can deny ball better in the paint and you can double team and get a steal easier in the paint. But when you have players like Victor Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren who can pass and who can initiate from the perimeter, that makes it harder to generate turnovers down low. So that kind of makes sense. I'm struggling to think of how many inside bigs there actually are left in the NBA. There's Walker Kessler, there's COVID Boy. I can't. I wouldn't classify. Embiid is great, like close to the paint, but
he can also
he can also
shoot.
stretch it out. Yeah. So
DeAndre Ayton.
oh yeah, him.
Which one?
I said
Ayton or
who aren't trash.
Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson.
I said who aren't trash.
I mean, if you're
This is gonna be such a fun day.
For all intents and purposes, that would also, by your definition, be any big that's an inside big.
That's fair. That's fair. That's
not
fair.
Jared Allen.
Wait, Jared Allen's an inside big.
Yeah, but he's trash.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Walker Kessler's trash. Right. Great takes. Yeah. Great takes, everybody. Interestingly, the most turnovers occur at the rim and in the corners. Just FYI, which makes sense.
Yeah. That makes sense. Because you deny ball there.
Yeah, and you trap.
Because those are the two most efficient spots to shoot from, unironically. So yeah, no, I do think that because of how much handling has improved, like I said, we have 7'7" and 7'9" centers who are handling. Like, show me another time where that was the case.
Oh, never. We have 7'5" dudes that are moving like guards. It's
the best passer in the NBA is a center. Arguably, the best passer in the NBA is a center. So
that would be fair. I think mechanically, Tyrese Halliburton or Trae Young are probably the best passers. But in terms of like court vision, I think that Jokic is probably number one.
So, yeah. I just think it's an evolution of the game.
But that's arguable to have already happened because Arvydas Sabonis, had he played a longer time in the NBA, had that same level of court vision and would have. Granted, he played at a time with John Stockton. He would have been the best passer in the. Oh, wait, is that right? He played with John Stockton, not with John Stockton, but
no,
like with John.
He
Stockton.
played in the same, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Because he played in the early 90s.
Yep.
He played in the late 90s, actually.
Well, John Stockton was around until the early 2000s, so you're good.
So, arguably that could have already happened because he was a 7'3" passing phenom.
I mean, even then, you don't see it at the volume because I can think of 3 or 4 off the top of my head who are good at moving the ball and who are above 7 foot or close to 7 foot in Joker's cage.
I just think it's the natural progression of basketball because height is golden in basketball and talent is golden. So like you cross.
Did you see there's a 7'9" guy in college now?
Yeah, he's playing with what, FSU?
I think so. It's something like that.
Yeah, the Gators. I was reading
He
about
looks
that.
he looks freaking ridiculous, dude, compared to the other people in college.
But we saw that, we've seen that so many times where it's like, oh, look at this tall kid playing high school or college basketball. Like, they're not going to go anywhere because, like, this kid I haven't actually watched yet, but, like, it's always like, oh, they're tall and they can dunk the ball without jumping. And it's like, that's the extent of their basketball ability. If this kid can shoot or something, like, sure. But until then, let's wait.
I'm not. I'm just saying. Austin, you got something to provide?
Nope.
That's not unusual.
So I guess
Anyway,
we'll save the victory lap. So like we already talked about, JJ Redick officially head coach for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird to me because JJ was drafted 2 years before LeBron. And I'm not necessarily. I think JJ will be a good coach, or I think he would be a good coach. But like we've talked about, I don't think the Lakers are the right fit for someone for their first job where they have the great mind for the game, but the results aren't going to be there because of player personnel.
No, and the results. It's really hard to get the results early. Like that's kind of the thing because you need time to. Well, JJ needs time just to figure everything out as far as managing an NBA team, but you also need time to get your player personnel together. You need time to get your coaching together. You need time to initiate your schemes and get everyone on board with said schemes. Like it's not plug and play.
Now I've heard like some names pop up for his assistant coaches, like Sam Cassell's one of them, which I really do like that. I just
and let's just be honest, the Lakers are low key a poorly run organization.
And that's what I was going to talk about that later when we talk about Caruso and Giddey. Because there's a lot of these like big market teams that are just so poorly run right now. And we'll talk about that with like I said, with the Caruso Giddey conversation. But when it comes to the Lakers, what do you think this necessarily means for LeBron, if anything? Do you think because
he's gone?
That's what I was going to say, because like LeBron doesn't want a first-time coach unless he wants to be the coach. Which
so there was a report.
He has a relationship with JJ. They started a podcast.
He does?
Together. Yeah, they started a podcast together.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But there's a difference between like starting a podcast with someone and having someone run your business, which is essentially what LeBron's doing. Because like I started a podcast with Angelo, but I wouldn't give him like executive control over anything.
Yes, you would. Don't lie to the people like that. Yes, you would. I basically have executive control over like half the podcast.
It's actually like
exactly.
It's actually a quarter because we all have executive control. Oh, go ahead, Austin.
I think that there is hiring. What?
So
there was like a massive like lag here. Hold on, sorry. Go ahead.
He was asking if do you think LeBron okayed it or requested JJ, and then the answer to that is I'm not sure because I'm not in that building, but there are rumors that the Lakers did not consult LeBron on this move and was more focused on getting Anthony Davis's approval of the hire of JJ Redick than LeBron James, which is another sign that LeBron might be gone.
And like that's the thing, because like if they asked LeBron for his input and he was like, yeah, I go with JJ, and then they offered Dan Hurley $13 million, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna give it to JJ. It was just a joke. It's just a prank, bro.
And once again, another sign that the Lakers are a poorly run organization.
There's just not really like conversations going on between LeBron.
How awkward must that have been for JJ to do that interview, then that second interview, and then they offered another fucking coach like $12 million, and then he told them no, and then they called him back.
Didn't they not interview JJ yet? vaguely recall they had not interviewed anyone except for Hurley at that point.
Oh,
there
okay.
was rumors of JJ going, but there wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think there was
Okay,
ever.
okay. It was rumors.
Because there's some kind of reasoning why until the end of the NBA Finals, like obviously Sam Cassell could not be interviewed, and JJ couldn't be interviewed.
Tampering, something to do with tampering that they don't care
Yeah.
about. Sure.
Yeah.
So I think Hurley just got the first walk in the door, and like a well-run business, instead of interviewing all the candidates, they just said, "You're hired." And then he was like, "I don't want the job." But no, I think that if he told them, "I want JJ," and then they hired Dan Hurley, and then Hurley said no, and they hired, like, that would be messy. That'd be very, very messy. So I
wouldn't surprise me, honestly. If that report came out, that would not surprise me one bit.
I don't know if, because there was that lag. I don't know if you guys ever heard like my full question.
We answered it. It dropped you out.
Okay.
Basically, what we said is, if, like, one, the rumors are LeBron and the Lakers agreed to have a mutual separation for this hire, so LeBron didn't consult at all. On the flip side, if that's false and he did consult and he said, "I want JJ," and then they hired Dan Hurley, and then they hired JJ afterwards, it doesn't look good for the relationship between LeBron and ownership and management of the Lakers, which is what we've kind of been saying. Like, I don't necessarily think LeBron wants out.
No,
I just, the Lakers are so poorly run right now.
Yep.
And again, the reports, like Angelo was saying, are they cared more about Anthony Davis's opinion on the hiring than LeBron. Because regardless of anything, we've got
I don't care how old he is. That's fucking LeBron James. That's LeBron fucking James, dude. Like,
it is, but like, even with LeBron James, are you winning the title in the next 2 years?
not with what they got.
Right, but you have all this money tied up to LeBron and AD.
Yep.
Like, right now, the Clippers have a better shot of winning a title in LA than the Lakers.
Which is weird.
Right now,
soul.
like in a couple weeks.
Anyway,
It hurts your soul, but I'm not wrong. And I think the Lakers or the Clippers are better ran right now.
They are. I can't agree with that.
So, say, are we still going with finals, or do we want to move into like the draft?
We're gonna move along, and then we're gonna come back so Angelo can take his victory lap when we're worthy.
You know what? No, the victory lap will come, but it will not be this episode. I will spring it on you. You will not see it coming. It'll come like a thief in the night, and it'll be over before you know it.
In other words,
all right, just let me know so I can take a bathroom break while you try.
In other words, he's Draymond Green and he's posturing. He has no idea what the hell he wants to say in this entire week of like, oh, wait till this week's episode. He has no fucking idea what he wants to say. He has none.
Oh, I have all the ideas.
Then
all the ideas.
Get it out of the way. Jesus Christ.
No, because I don't have everything in order. I need everything in order, Rhett, to do it right. See, this is what you don't understand. You don't appreciate the posturing. You don't appreciate doing the things right. Because I just want robo basketball players out there, and no. We're not roboing this. We're gonna let it be natural.
So my favorite.
Let it flow.
I don't want robo basketball players. I want robot officials. So, fun fact: the other day, while I was busy, Cameron, one of our friends, shared an article about this whole MJ ordeal, and we'll probably cover that MJ thing on another episode. I think that's I think that deserves an off-season episode. That's not a. That's like a.
Today.
Yeah. If you follow the NBA, you know what we're talking about. But so basically, within the article, they were talking about stat padding and how officials were
MJ being donated a Defensive Player of the Year award. Yeah,
and Angelo was basically trying to throw shade at me because I should be in favor of robotic stat keepers because the stats were wrong. And then, like, he didn't actually read the whole article because literally the next paragraph was talking about how the NBA modernized and had robots take over certain things so that stats were recorded accurately.
Rehn already won. Rehn already won that.
And then
before it even started.
I did bring up like a few baseball plays where that happened, you know, a really long time ago, like earlier in this year, where poor refereeing cost a game. Like there was one where a check swing, which was very obviously a strike, was called a check swing, and the very next pitch was hit out of the park for the walk-off homer. You know, maybe we shouldn't have the guy that's standing 90 feet away make that call. Just a crazy thought. Because that player, we rewarded.
You are now Robo Red.
We rewarded a bad play by the offense. Why are we doing that? Why are we rewarding bad play? That's the point I make when I'm saying modernization is key. The NBA did it, and we had what did it say? Like non-existent statistical anomalies. Like, do you remember when we were talking about Jaren Jackson and how like someone said that he was getting home court favoritism, and immediately like they went through every block, every steal, everything, and confirmed it all? Welcome to the modern era. This isn't like 1909 when they're saying, oh, this player, he stood on the baseball mound and all of his players started knitting because he was so good at pitching. Where's the video? Oh, there's no video. All right, that does a myth. Welcome to the modern time. You couldn't make shit up like that.
You can't hide.
And sports need to embrace that. That's a good thing. The integrity of the game. Mr. Doesn't Troll in the show. There's been there's been a lot of tragic. There's been no traction between Clay and the Magic. Clay's best offers may end up smaller in money and shorter in years. Even if Warriors eventually approach Thompson with a competitive offer, it has become increasingly conceivable Clay will decide to leave the Warriors regardless, searching for a fresh start. I don't know if I believe that. And that's from Slater, so it's the verifiable source. But it feels like Clay's posturing because Steph's going to be back. Draymond's going to be back. Yes, Clay unfollowed all their social medias. I totally get that. But if the Warriors offer...
It's like the first sign of a divorce.
But if the Warriors offer a competitive salary, and your options are to go play with Steph and Wardell Curry, or Wardell, Steph, and Curry, or go play with Markelle Fultz.
I mean,
you pick Markelle Fultz.
Why?
No, there's also the aspect of having to uproot your life.
Yeah, there's the.
Wait a minute! No, wait a minute! You motherfuckers did not just start. You motherfuckers did not just start this thing by saying, "Oh, they have 9 weeks to prepare from the end of the season to the regular season." You can't do it in 9 weeks. They should be ready. They should be prepared. And you're saying that they have to uproot their lives in 9 weeks, and now that's
Angelo. Like if he has kids, like pulling the kid out of school, that is something. It's not going to affect his abilities, but it's still a factor in a decision.
There's also like the headache of
you can pay a mover,
but there's like a headache of moving in general, let alone like cross country. And again, you're moving from the Bay Area of California to Florida.
I think you just got shade thrown at you.
No.
I mean, he wants to live here, so it's fine.
Listen. I'm an idiot. I won't deny that. But I'm saying, again, play with Curry in California, or go
and
live
miss the
in
playoffs
Florida
and make the playoffs. I'd go live in Florida and make the playoffs. That's just me.
I guess we'll see. I still don't think Clay will leave, regardless of anything. It's
I think
all.
unless Orlando lowballs them, he's gone. And they might. It's Orlando.
Speaking of Florida, Howard Beck yesterday. Jimmy Butler will be traded. Rival executives have been buzzing about it for months. Butler is about to turn 35 with a lot of hard miles and a lot of injuries. With 1 year left on his Heat contract, and is reportedly seeking a 2-year, $113 million extension. If the Heat grant it, they'll have little to no flexibility to add another
$60 million
star,
a year.
and they absolutely need one.
The him inning.
You want 60
Pat
million a
Riley
year?
is known for moving off his high-priced players before they fall off a cliff. Again, he did it with Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
And Butler at this stage would be much more valuable as a second or third option on a contender than as the top dog in Miami.
Agreed.
I just need to know who I'm rooting for next year.
Philadelphia.
Why are you rooting for a team based on an old Jimmy Butler?
So you know.
What did he say?
God, I want. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I want Jimmy Butler
You want
in
him in the
Dallas.
Pacers?
No, I want him in Dallas.
It's a 3-point shooting.
I want to clip this entire episode and then in a year clip the entire episode where Luka averages 50 50. Luka averages 50 in a final series, Jimmy averages 10, and this motherfucker is gonna sit here on this podcast and say the hemming returned.
Yep, damn straight. You know it's coming.
I won't be a Mavs fan if Jimmy Butler goes on there.
Thank you.
60 million.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that is a
that's
lot,
a lot
for a 35-year-old injury-prone player. But is it though? Because this is the new market because this is the first year of the new TV deal, right? So
Yes.
that could be viewed as a budget contract. Hold on, how much is?
No, there's no way. No way.
So Pascal Siakam got the first contract under the new CBA.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it is what, 189
for how many years?
For 4 years. That's 48 AAV.
47 point, yeah. So Jimmy Butler is $20 million, worth $20 million more than Pascal?
Pascal Siakam.
Absolutely not. Not now.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
So do you think Jimmy will get that from anyone? Do you think
I don't know.
That's desperate enough to
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, the Hornets could probably.
If the Lakers could finagle it, they'll probably do it.
Lakers, Bulls.
I don't think the Bulls would. They're in blow-up mode.
They're in blow-up mode.
That would be so
We'll talk about the Bulls in a second, though. Speaking of Siakam, we'll talk about that real quick. First player signed for this season, extended 4 years with the Pacers, 189.5.
How you feeling?
I love it because it's only 4 years. The fact that had Pascal walked in free agency, that would have been it wouldn't have been the worst trade because you made the Eastern Conference Finals, but it would be a bad trade at that point. But the fact that the Pacers were able to not only extend him but keep it to only 4 years, which will be when he's 34, his game should translate well as he ages, but it's structured that his contract comes off the books right when Tyrese Halliburton's next extension will kick in. So I really just think it's just Kevin Pritchard is one of the better GMs. I think he's very underrated. I think his trading and drafting has been pretty underrated.
The problem is you don't get credit for drafting slightly above average league players if you don't make the finals.
But let's look at it, okay? So Paul George demands a trade, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So a player demands a trade, it tanks their value, correct?
Yep.
So through that trade, Pacers get Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis.
Yep.
Victor Oladipo has a few years where, or a couple years where,
Victor just got snaked in with bad luck.
yeah, the
honestly.
injuries, like, because when we entered the prime of Oladipo, he looked like one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
Sabonis evolved into one of the best players in the league. Flipped, both of those pieces ended up with Malcolm Brogdon and eventually Tyrese Halliburton. Those picks led to Benedict Mathurin, Andrew Nemhard. Got Jalen Smith for cash considerations from the Phoenix Suns. Got Aaron Nesmith for
Wasn't the
cash.
Hawks?
Huh?
Wasn't the Hawks? I could have swore it was the Hawks.
No, it was the Suns.
Okay, go on.
Got Aaron Nesmith for a second from the Boston Celtics. That Pascal Siakam trade, yeah, it was a lot, but I feel like it was less than Siakam really was worth for a contender. Granted, the Pacers have not won anything yet, but all of the moves that Kevin Pritchard have made, it's been pretty elite.
Yeah, but he's made some good moves. He made some good moves.
And the window is just now opening.
So just sidebarring real quick, but still about trades.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about that whole, you have the Nets to thank for the Celtics championship?
Oh, 100% true.
It's 100% true. Who was Danny Ainge still running the Celtics at that time?
When the trade happened that got them Tatum and Brown?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When Danny Ainge he seems like a man that's just going to keep going until he's dead. When Danny Ainge is out of the league, put him in the Hall of Fame. Just because of his ability to build war chests of assets.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, Danny Ainge is the reason the Celtics have that championship, because a lot of those here's Danny Ainge's weakness. Because he owned the Celtics. He owned one of the 5 most prominent NBA players ever. He wasn't willing to give up the war chest to get the pieces that he needed. When Brad Stevens took over, the trades for Jrue Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis really helped solidify Boston's run, and they looked oppressive under Ainge. They actually played oppressive under Stevens because of the moves he made.
Oh, for sure. And I think that Jrue Holiday trade is going to go down as one of the best trades in recent history. Probably not all time.
I mean, he's the one to trade for if you're going to trade for someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 rings the year he got traded for.
Yep. Very underrated defender, apparently.
He's very underrated across the board. It's interesting because you could argue he's going to be a Hall of Famer, and he made a Hall of Fame career once he turned
what?
Turned 30. Like, go look at his. Hold on, let me just, because that's off the top of my head. So let's see, stats. Oh, that doesn't help me because it doesn't show his age. Basketball Reference, that'll show me his age. So his breakout season was when he was 27. After that, all defensive teams, DPOI votes every year, 20 points per game, 4 assists, 5 rebounds, like 2 championships,
Mm-hmm.
all in the time, like all once he turned 30. Like it's
and pivotal piece of those
the
championships.
key piece, absolutely key. Like I don't want to say
Not
that.
the driving force, but he was definitely
Yeah, you needed him.
he contributed.
You
He contributed.
needed him because like
Yeah.
we can joke and say that Kyrie was terrible because he stepped on Lucky. No, Kyrie was getting guarded by
That's
Drew
true.
Holiday.
Yeah, for sure.
And Drew Holiday is one of the, if not the best guard defenders in the NBA. The only players I would say are up there with him would be Alex Caruso, which we'll talk about here shortly.
Smart.
Yeah,
Marcus Smart for sure. Case and Wallace, underrated because he's so young.
Lou Dort.
Lou Dort's up there.
Yeah.
There's a few like wingers that are able to guard the one pretty well too,
Bridges.
like Isaac.
Jonathan Isaac, yeah. I don't know.
Sorry, I accidentally disconnected my mic.
You're good.
So let's talk about Caruso and Josh Giddey. For one team, this is a trade that feels like a championship trade. For the other team, this might be the worst trade in franchise history.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the good team. So it's a 1-for-1 trade, which I didn't know still existed in the NBA. Like just player for player. Like I thought it was always like player and picks, and I feel like Caruso was worth a pick on top. Like, and especially from OKC because OKC has like 1 billion first-round picks. You couldn't get a bad one on top of Giddey. But you're adding like Shea was the steals leader this year, right? That sounds right. I'm gonna run with it, and if I'm wrong, go ahead and correct me. But that sounds right. Lou Dort, we just talked about, one of the best guard defenders in the NBA. Case and Wallace, underrated defender.
Yep.
You're adding Caruso, who is like he's the player. Like if you are a fan of basketball and not just a fan of players, like if you are watching your team and you're like, we want to win a championship, he's the kind of player you want to add. If you already have a competitive team, like if you have a competitive team,
number 3. Shea was tied for 2 with De'Aaron Fox.
Damn.
And Smart was 2.1, but he only played 20 games, so he was tied for first.
Well, in that case, then yeah, that would be first because 20 games wouldn't qualify.
Yeah, he was tied for De'Aaron.
Yeah, okay. I thought it sounded right, but I wasn't sure. Low-key, the Thunder might be the best defensive team in the NBA now. Who's better?
The Celtics?
No.
Starting 5, I give it to the Celtics.
Wait, what? What's going on?
He said the Thunder's the best defensive team in the league now.
With that trade.
With Caruso.
You have Shea, Lou Dort, Case and Wallace, Chet Holmgren. Just those 4 pieces. Celtics have Drew Holiday and Jaylen Brown.
And Derek White.
Chris Stapps and Jason Tatum.
Yeah, but like...
And not only that, even if you don't want to say Boston, the Timberwolves will play better defensively, I think.
I mean, I think on paper the Grizzlies have a chance.
Not when Jaw's playing.
No. No, I think the debate is them, Boston, and the Timberwolves. Honestly, Magic. The Magic.
Magic have an interesting... because like it depends on who's on the court. And there's also the flip side that those Thunder players or those Timberwolves players or those or Celtics players they're also going to score the basketball. Jonathan Isaac might be really, really good at defense, but God, you don't want him shooting the ball. It's like Matisse Thybulle. Jonathan Isaac's better offensively than Matisse Thybulle was. I'm really actually worried the Pacers are going to sign Matisse Thybulle. I'm just going to throw that out there now. I'm going to get it in.
He's such a Pacers player.
He is absolutely the definition. The only way he would be more of a good fit for the Pacers as a Pacers player, not as a good fit, is if he was from Indiana. On the flip side, the Chicago Bulls. Oh. I don't even know where to start.
So
I'm
not gonna lie. My first gut feeling was the Thunder needed to get more for Josh Giddey, and then I looked at exactly what Josh Giddey did in the season, and he was absolutely unplayable in the playoffs. And I'd even argue he's the reason they lost that playoff series.
So here's what I would say. Here's my exact thought. Josh Giddey should have got you more from the Thunder. Caruso should have got you more from the Bulls. It's just like
that's fair.
It doesn't make sense. The problem is, so Josh Giddey's only 21. Okay.
Yes,
so
and that's
if he has all-star potential. He has all-star potential. Absolutely, he's got size. He's an elite playmaker.
He doesn't
he's a
use
good defender.
That size, so that's kind of the thing.
He doesn't, but he could. That's the whole point. So the problem I run into when I'm looking at this from the Chicago Bulls in terms of fit, you already have Lonzo Ball. Well, I was going to mention him, but we'll talk about that. So they have Ayo DeSumo, right? Your boy loves Ayo. They've got Kobe White, who just finished second in most improved player voting, being the primary ball handler. They have Lonzo Ball. They have hold on, they have one other point guard that I'm forgetting of. Bulls.
They're gonna play him at like small forward, and he's gonna get bullied by people who actually use their 6'8" frames.
Javon Carter. So the problem is not so much the Josh Giddey, because Josh Giddey is useless without the ball in his hands. With the ball in his hands, he's a good player.
That's debatable.
No, he's a good player with the ball in his hands. He's a good playmaker. Like there was that time, like I'm almost wondering if the Bulls are looking at the games when Shea was out, and that's what they're saying. Okay, we think Josh Giddey could hit this potential, and if they are, they're taking a shot in the dark, and I fully respect that.
But there's
because
a difference.
You've got to remember when Shea was out, Josh Giddey was averaging like 31 and 10.
Right, but there's a difference between being a piece on a winning team and saying, fuck it, Shea's out, we're losing anyway, let's just put Josh Giddey out there. Rehn, he was unplayable in the playoffs.
Because in the playoffs, but no, Angelo, what I'm asking is if you have Josh Giddey and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who are you giving the ball to?
Not Josh Giddey.
Shea.
But here's the thing. I don't know where Josh Giddey falls. Where like if you have Josh Giddey and Lonzo Ball, I'm still giving the ball to Lonzo.
Okay, but we'll talk about we'll wait on that. We'll wait on that because there is
Let's make sure Lonzo can play.
No, there's okay. We'll just go ahead and get it out of the way. So there's a report out from one of the big. It might have been Shams. I don't remember who it was. There was a tweet
that he's not
yesterday.
He's not long.
No. There was a tweet like right when this trade happened that said the Bulls acquired Giddey as a replacement for Lonzo.
Yep.
As in things don't look good because the rumor has been Lonzo will never play professional basketball again. Like this seems like a legitimate career-ending serious injury.
Yeah.
For a meniscus?
It was his back.
Oh, the back. Okay. Sorry.
And the Bulls, what they're doing, because the Bulls are blowing it up 100%. And Josh Giddey is only 21 years old. And if you're looking...
I just realized something.
What?
If the Bulls are blowing it up, guess what that means?
Yeah, Levine's gone.
Not Levine.
DeMar DeRozan.
We get to talk about DeMar DeRozan. Let's go. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
So, for those that aren't aware, Austin left the group.
So, Austin, what if DeMar gets traded to the Mavericks?
We'll talk. Let's finish the talk about the trade, and then we'll talk.
Go on.
So, if I'm the Chicago Bulls and I'm blowing it up, I'm looking to acquire young assets, right? Like that's smart. The problem is you just had Kobe White finish second in Most Improved Player as your your ball dominant guard. We'll call it that. And you trade for a player that has to have the ball in his hands to be productive. That's where I have the issue. If you're just blowing the whole team up and you're going to give the keys to Josh Giddey and see what happens, because again, when Shea was out, we saw that he was a competent NBA player. Go for it. But you're shoving Kobe White to that off guard spot, and like he's not effective there. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Unless they trade Kobe White.
They're not trading Kobe White. I just feel like if you were trading Caruso, because we saw reports during the trade deadline that teams were offering multiple picks for Alex Caruso.
Mm-hmm.
And including one that ended up being top 10 in this year's NBA draft. Like, would it have been if Caruso was there? Who knows, like, how much of wins he would have impacted. But
still.
I just feel like from Chicago's standpoint and from the Thunder standpoint, you could have got more for both. And, like, from the Thunder, like, I'm happy with Caruso. Like, I love that trade. I just...
100%, yeah.
I feel like you could have asked for more just because Giddey does have all-star potential. Will he hit it? Probably not, but he does have it.
Because of the idea of potential. You have to
get more. It's the idea of Josh Giddey is better than Josh Giddey.
Yes, 100%.
With the Bulls, like, just because I don't trust them, because what they're trying to do and what I am worried they're going to do is they're going to try to play the middle. They're going to have all these young pieces. Look, we're building for the future. And then they're going to bring back Vucevic and DeMar DeRozan and be like, look, we're trying to compete. And they're going to finish a little above 500. The playoffs again.
DeMar DeRozan.
They're just going to miss the play-in tournament again.
They're just going to keep doing it. They're going to... So in hockey a few years back, like the Dallas Stars were really bad about this, where it's like you're good enough to not be in the lottery, but you're just treading, you're middle of the pack. You're not good enough to win anything. You're not bad enough to get a high pick, and you just live in purgatory forever. And that's what it feels like the Chicago Bulls are currently doing. And if they want to go down this road of like, we're committed to youth, we're trading older players for these young potential based players, absolutely do it. But do it. Don't halfway do it.
Do you think that the Bulls are like afraid of losing because of their history?
They fucking shouldn't be. They should not be.
But here's the thing. They're attached to Michael Jordan. They will always and forever be attached to Michael Jordan. Which
is fair?
No, that's 100% fair. But do you think they're afraid to just fully tank, fully blow it up, and be competing for the number one lotto ticket? Because it feels like it. It feels like they're perpetually afraid of being atrocious, even though they have performed atrocious.
But they did.
What do you mean? But they did? When?
Angelo, where do you think Derrick Rose was drafted?
Right, but that was like 20 years ago, dude.
That was like 12 years ago.
Same deal.
Closer to 20 than it is now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Austin, don't help him.
But here's the thing: like, why do they like to be mediocre? That's my question. Why did they think Levine, DeMar, and Vucevic was going to work? I'm a jack off, and I could have told you that wasn't. In fact, I said it for 2 years on the podcast that it was doomed to fail from the start.
So if they were on, not even
DeMar, don't you dare say this had a chance to succeed.
No, if Levine was on a better contract and they could have got another player, probably. Levine has
They had no defense.
Levine's overrated.
Levine is overrated, but his contract is god awful. He has probably the worst contract in pro sports. It's pretty close. I can't think of anyone worse. Like, it's up there with like Timothy Mozgov from 12 years ago.
Closer to 20.
Shut up. But I don't think it's a fear of being mediocre. I think because they're a large market team, they're going to sell jerseys because all they have to do is print more Michael Jordan jerseys and they're going to sell.
But how?
I just think they're poorly run. I think
how
they're poorly
sad
run.
is it that you have to get a player from 30 years ago to sell fucking jerseys?
But that's any team. Like, if you go to a Pacer game, you're still going to see Reggie Miller jersey.
Oh, really? So the Reggie Miller jersey does better than the fucking Tyrese Halliburton jersey? Really? Really? Well,
it's probably pretty close, honestly.
Oh my god.
That's why MJ's the GOAT. He can sell jersey 30 years later.
Pacers jersey sales 2024. Let's see if I can actually find that. No. LaMelo Ball remains in the top 15 of jersey sales. That is depressing. Hold on, who's in the top 15 jersey sales? Number 1, Steph Curry. Weird that he's still up there. LeBron James, that makes sense.
A lot of kids like Steph Curry.
Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama's 4. Giannis is 5. Doncic is 6. Booker is 7. Durant 8. Lillard 9. That's weird. Maxi's 10. John Morant's 11. Joel is 12. Jokic 13. LaMelo Ball 14. Jalen Brunson 15.
Is LeBron in there?
Number 2.
LeBron was 2.
Okay. I didn't hear that.
That makes sense. Yeah. Like, you're in that conversation. Like, if you are in that conversation, your jersey's going to sell forever.
Right. But here's the thing.
But which LeBron jersey sells?
But here's the thing. If I'm the Cavs fan, I really hope we're not selling fucking LeBron jerseys and they're our number 1 jersey. I hope it's Donovan Mitchell or Evan Mobley or whomever is their star at the time. LeBron's great. LeBron's all time. LeBron's time in Cleveland is over. It's time to move on. That's the same thing with Chicago. It's time to move on. The 6 titles happened. They're over. They haven't happened in 30 years, Chicago. It's time to move on. Let's start building something so you can win again and not have to sell a jersey from 1991.
So I Googled, like, I was trying to pull up, like, jerseys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I sorted, and it told me Max Strus was number 1, and it's because Max Strus is number 1. I read it wrong and about had a heart attack because I was like, there's no, like, Ohio's dumb. Ohio's not that dumb. It's weird. I feel like there used to be a way to pull up, like, jersey sales, and I can't. Because I would be surprised, like, if I go to the Cavs team store. Well, I'm going to do that. If I go to the Cavs team store, allow, and I go to, that's the entirety of the NBA. I don't want that. Cavs team store. Jerseys. All jerseys, because I don't know what the difference is. Best selling, Donovan Mitchell. Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett sells more than Darius Garland, and that's a different sport, and they just have a Myles Garrett jersey.
Myles Garrett is pretty big up here.
I mean, how far down do I have to go to get to a LeBron jersey?
This is my point.
I'm on page 2. Hold on.
This is my point.
But you have to also realize, like, these are all, like, the same jerseys. Like, it's like I'm on page 3 of Donovan Mitchell jerseys. Mark Price. Hey, I found a Mark Price. Mark Price sells more than LeBron James. That's weird.
Right, but he's not. You had to go through multiple pages to get to him. That's the thing. I don't mind the selling of the jersey. I mind the fact that the selling of the jersey from 30 years ago is your selling point. That's where the problem occurs.
I feel like I'm on the wrong website because I see a Travis Kelce Cavaliers youth jersey.
Good job. He actually is from Ohio, by the way.
That's probably why.
Yeah, both the Kelce's are from Ohio.
Go to the NBA. Let's sort by Cleveland.
If I'm not mistaken, one of them actually still lives in Ohio.
I
can see it being Jason. It's close enough.
Top seller. Okay, from the NBA, the top seller is Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, custom jersey, Darius Garland, Isaac Okoro. That's your top 5.
That's fair. That's more than fair.
All the Donovan Mitchell ones are on discount, though.
Yeah, I don't.
That's a little worrying.
He's gone.
He's not gone.
I don't think he's gone. The last report
gone.
I saw is he's staying, and it's Garland who's actually gone. But we'll see. We shall see.
The NBA draft is next week, which is weird.
Very weird.
But
this is the last episode until.
Is this the last one until the draft?
Yeah,
I think it is. It is. Because you were mentioning something about it like a few days ago. You know what's weird is we're gonna have our talk on the NBA finals, and then the NBA draft is we're gonna have 1 week, and then the NBA draft is gonna be here. Yeah,
I do remember that.
Isn't that weird? That's weird.
Why do you talk like that when you're?
Because that's you.
June 26th, which is in 5 days.
I just speed you up.
I mean, there's not really going to be a lot to talk about before that draft. Like, Risa Shar is going to go 1-1. Alex Sarr is going to go 102. And then it's interesting from there because it could be Reed Shepherd or it could be Zach Edey. Who knows? Who cares? And everyone says this draft is going to be bad. They've said that a lot of times, and you never know. So we will see.
Do we want to do a live draft?
Maybe we'll discuss that. And
I mean, we did stream the NFL draft, so it's your turn, bitch.
Okay. Well, more information.
You made me suffer through that. You're suffering through that. In fact, I'm even going to pull you, and I'm not going to show up for it.
Hold on. I made you suffer through that.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Did I have anything to do with that at all?
Yep. You had everything to do with it. So there you go. It's your turn to stay up till midnight.
Before the NBA draft doesn't take that long. So before we wrap up, I saw this interesting post on Reddit, and I kind of wanted to go through it. So, dude compiled a list of threads 5 years ago. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, 5 years ago, a poster on Reddit posted, "Who do you think the top 10 or top 5 to 10 players in the NBA will be 5 years from now?" And like scrolling through it, if Simmons can get any semblance of a shot, he will be. I think he can reach top 10 even if he never develops a shot.
If only they knew. If only they
like
knew.
It's so fun to like look back. Hold on.
Simmons honestly did have top 10 potential.
Absolutely. Tier 1. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, James Harden.
You know what?
Only they
I don't
know.
have a problem with any of that except maybe James Harden.
Tier 2, Kawhi, Paul George, AD, Westbrook.
Repeat that.
Kawhi, PG, AD, Westbrook. It gets better. Tier 3, Embiid, Jokic, Dame, Kyrie. It gets better. Tier 4, Blake Griffin, Karl Anthony Towns, Victor Oladipo, Bradley Beal, Jimmy, and CP3.
Well, Jimmy's where he belongs.
Wow.
Tier 5, DeRozan, Kemba, Clay, Aldridge, Drummond, Vucevic, Mitchell, Gobert, Lowry, and...
Half those guys aren't even in the NBA
right?
anymore.
And DeRozan where he belongs.
Oh my god.
Permanent trip in Cancun for DeMar DeRozan.
What would you do if DeMar got traded to Dallas?
Fully buy in on being a Magic fan?
Yeah. Next time you see me, I will have a Paulo jersey if that happens.
Here's a hot take. One of Luka, Trey, or Ayton will be in the top 5.
Well, I mean, he got one
He's
of them right.
Yeah, he got one of them right.
The other two just fell off.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I think we've jumped the shark on Trey, and I think my hate has worked too well. Full circle moment here.
Here's an interesting one. Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, Kristaps Porzingis, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon, Jaylen Brown, spelled incorrectly, by the way, and Devin Booker.
Okay, let's be real. For 5 years ago, that's actually really fucking good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
5 year Aaron Gordon, though.
Aaron Gordon's bad. Aaron Gordon's really bad. But
was that gonna?
He was cooking with this.
Yes,
that's the top people. He was trying to cook with this, and he was trying to get some obscure people, and he actually hit a few of them. So yeah. I'll give him that. He was trying to cook with that. I'll give him a pass for the Aaron Gordon.
Oh wait, hold on. This one got removed for being below the like threshold. LeBron. Okay, that one's just LeBron. Someone in the top 5 of the 2019 NBA draft will be a bust. Who will it be? Zion Williamson, John Morant, RJ Barrett, DeAndre Hunter, Darius Garland. Who do you think they said?
Zion.
That was the first one.
What?
The first comment was Zion.
I knew it.
But it's because they said he has an awfully big body for an 82-game season.
It's fair. I mean, when he's on the court, he's one of the best 5-10 players in the NBA. It's just he's not there.
Yeah.
He's not there.
You kind of have to compete to be ranked.
Actually, I'm going to say it, like, the Reddit users in this thread actually were pretty spot on because they all said RJ Barrett. There's one guy that said Garland.
I mean, it was New York. Not much hope there.
This was before the draft, though.
Oh.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
There's a few Darius Garlands, and their reasoning is we didn't see enough out of college, which is fair.
You could have said the same thing about Kyrie, though. I don't know.
In 5 years, this is a good thread. In 5 years, who do you think will be the best out of these 4 players? Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, or John Collins?
One of these things is not like the other.
Oof. Do we have a John Collins in there?
The first reply is no bias, but John Collins.
Get that man a ring.
And most people are saying either Mitchell or Fox, though I will. The order this person says Mitchell, then Collins, then Tatum, then this person, I'm going to say Collins. As Trey develops, Collins will be his running mate. And
here's my question.
A lot more Collins than I thought.
I'm going to derail this for a second. So, we talked about the NBA Finals. Why did we not talk about Jaylen Brown winning that Finals MVP over Jason Tatum? And the fact that it was deserved?
I mean, we can. Like, it was deserved. He won Finals MVP.
It was very deserved, but isn't that concerning to you if you're the Celtics that the face of your organization wasn't really the driving force for?
Absolutely not.
No concern at all.
Just none. Zero.
Yeah, it's fine.
Zilch.
None.
Zip.
Zilch. Nada. Nothing.
I'm not concerned at all. Like, that's a good problem to have.
I mean, but is Tatum the best player on that team?
Yes.
I don't feel as confident.
But not a concern.
Yes.
Not a concern. Nothing. Best player on the team. Except in the NBA Finals.
I don't think it's a gap. I don't think there's a big gap.
And the Eastern Conference Finals.
I think that Tatum is, like, it's almost a 1A, 1B thing. Like, they're better in different ways. If that makes sense.
Personally, I think I want Jaylen Brown if I'm starting an organization.
Oh, no, if I'm building an organization, I would take Jaylen Brown. But if I've got both of them on the team, like, Jason Tatum is my 1A. So,
I don't know.
It's Jaylen Brown is able to do it all. If you already have a team, Jason Tatum is the piece you need, right? Like, if you're building a team, you can build a team really easily around Jaylen. So maybe that makes him the better overall player. But we're modern sports fans, all we care about is put ball in basket, and that's Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is the better player.
He's a better scorer. Doesn't mean he's a better player.
Yeah, but you're talking about the.
Brent knows all about that debate.
God damn it, Angelo. I mean, you can score so you're blue in the face. If you can't stop scores, it's not really doing anything for you.
That's the thing. I don't think Tatum's the better player on the Celtics anymore.
No, I don't either. I mean, Red, you're right. It's very close, but I think the edge is in Brown's favor.
I don't know. I can't say that.
Dude was competing with Kyrie Irving. That's how disappointing he looked. And they won in 5 games. Yes, that is concerning that the face of your organization could only muster like 1 or 2 games where he dropped above like 15.
Right.
Yes, that is very concerning.
Right. But it's not.
So
either Rehn has a lot of confidence in his picks, or he's delusional.
No, it's just I don't like. Stephen Curry has a game or had a week where he shot like 0 for 27 and 3-pointers. If you're the Golden State Warriors,
2 series.
Right, but you don't get concerned for a bad streak. You get concerned for bad consistency. I'm not worried at all because of 2 series, which was 9 games. I'm not worried about that. Like, if it continues, yeah, then you get worried. But 9 games out of an 82-game season is not... Sorry, what? How many games did the Celtics play in the postseason?
Tell me. They've been in the playoffs for the last 5 years, it feels like.
Right.
And this motherfucker couldn't average more than 15 points a game in 2 series. You
No,
got
probably not.
oh. And that's how it's concerned to you.
No.
Oh my god.
So it's like, am I concerned because Kyrie shot or scored 15 points in the NBA Finals? No, he was being guarded by Drew Holiday. Like,
you just said Luka needs more help at the start of this
he
episode.
does. He does. But I'm not concerned about Kyrie because Kyrie was being guarded by Luka or from Drew Holiday. Like, I'm not concerned about the player that's getting the tougher defensive matchups not performing offensively. It's a very good problem to have if you're Boston. Like, they can only really guard one of Tatum or Brown. Like, Tatum's the better offensive player, so you guard him, and then
who was
the
Dallas Mavericks putting on Tatum exactly? I'm just curious.
Who matched up? Hold on.
I'm just.
Guarded by Andrew Wiggins. No, I don't want that. This is apparently... Wait, Jason Tatum had 31 in the elimination game. He had 31 and... Hold on. Why are we even having this conversation?
Because he didn't get the MVP.
Right, but he's like, oh, he averaged 15. He had 15 points in a single game. He dropped
Angelo's argument,
30. Angelo's an idiot. Against the Pacers, he had 36 twice. What the fuck were you talking about? He's just not going to say anything now.
Nope.
What the... Hold on. I'm actually like confused what he was looking at. He averaged 25 points throughout the entire playoffs. Angelo, what were you talking about?
I was hoping you'd just go along with it.
Oh my god.
Gotcha. I Kendrick Perkins you for a while.
He averaged 22 in the first round, 27 in the second round, 30 in the third round, and 22.2 in the finals. You're dumb. You are dumb. You are really dumb. For real. No, but I'm not concerned about Jaylen Brown. Like, it's for the same reason I'm not like, Andre Iguodala beat Steph Curry. Is Andre Iguodala the best player on the fucking Warriors? No, that's stupid as hell. The best player does not always win the finals MVP. You just don't do that. That's dumb. That is dumb. That is really dumb. Jason Tatum is still the best player on the Celtics, and it is very, very close. Best player in 3 to 5 years of Booker, Simmons, Tatum, Doncic, or Zion?
Doncic.
Someone said Shake Milton. That was the top reply. Followed by probably Simmons. Followed by Doncic, which someone replied to with sure, even though Simmons eats him for breakfast. Ben Simmons. Same, Simmons. Doncic is definitely number 2 for me. Doncic is a monster, but Ben is 1. Simmons, but I think I like Cat of all the prospects the most.
Let it go, Ren. Let the guy die.
Bro, like, this is all...
The horse is dead. You got it, man. People thought Ben Simmons was going to be a top 5 player. And he was afraid to dunk on fucking Trae Young. So Trae Young effectively ended
Hold on. This is the best. Simmons is literally a jump shot away from being the best player in basketball.
Among other things.
Someone said Dwight Howard, Lauri Markkanen.
For a season.
Someone help me out. Will Tatum be a legal adult by then? Y'all remember that time when everyone was like, Jason Tatum's only 21. Someone said Caruso. You know, that guy is a Jazz fan. He's actually got a Deron Williams player. I'm going to say Simmons is the safest bet because even if he never develops a jump shot, he'll still be a very solid player. Booker would be the most surprising. Everyone in this thread's going to feel silly when Mitchell wins 5 straight MVPs.
Yikes.
Let's see. What teams do you think will be contenders in 5 years? That one's always a hot button issue. Then we'll start wrapping up. Boston, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Denver, and Utah. Okay, fair.
That was pretty good, honestly.
Pacers, Mavs, Atlanta, Sacramento.
Remember Sacramento, Ren? You remember last year?
I do. Brooklyn, Atlanta, Denver, Dallas, Sacramento, Philadelphia, Utah, Boston, Phoenix. That's actually pretty accurate. Atlanta, obviously not Brooklyn. You have to understand the context that they had a team that should have been competing at that time. Someone said Atlanta has a good young core, but 5 years will still be too early for them to contend. It's still
that aged a lot better than.
Could Westbrook become the next Carmelo Anthony? What?
That's actually low-key a good one too. If they're talking about his transition to a bench player and the struggles that come with that.
Hold on,
I don't think they were thinking about his failures, Angelo, but
actually I think they are. Hold on. Westbrook is already at an all-time worst shot in his volume. And it's not that he was ever a shooter. While he shoots 25% on threes, his career average is 30%. Melo has a huge ego and sees himself as a superstar. A couple years down the line, with diminished athleticism and no jump shot to rely on, he could very well become a net negative on, despite having the skill to be a successful rotation player. I think it's quite likely he won't accept a fourth, fifth fiddle or a bench role.
There it is. Yep.
Oh.
That was actually a good take.
And would still take big shots at key moments despite abysmal shooting percentage. But unlike now, he won't have amazing athleticism to bail him out, so he won't be able to be as deadly. I'm not talking about this year, even next, but 4 years on the line, he'll still command a max salary, but at that point, he will far from be a max player. Because his peak was much higher than Melo's, winning the MVP, and he's a well-rounded player with high assist and rebound numbers. His fall may be more delayed, but once it will come, I think it will be just as torturous and just as damaging to his reputation as Melo's last couple of years were to him.
Yeah.
This guy cooked. That guy cooked.
You know what? This thread is 5 years upvote. Upvote. Russ will do what's best for the team. He adjusts his game to be the most productive he can be.
And that guy fell flat on his face.
Hold on, I'm trying to see. Melo wasn't half the playmaker Westbrook is. I also have this weird theory that super athletic players age the best out of anyone. What? Shooters age the best out of anyone.
Athletic shooters age the best out of everyone.
Crazy theory. Hope it works out for him.
Are there any uber athletic shooters?
Mm.
Mm.
Uber athletic shooters.
Ray Allen was one.
Ray Allen was sneakily athletic. I mean, it depends. Like, so we associate athletic with like jumping out of the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie Irving is an elite athletic shooter.
Donovan
would be a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Depending on your definition, like Obi Toppin. There's someone we're forgetting.
Not Clay.
Oh God, no, not Clay. Clay's got the athleticism of like me. His vertical looks like a little like hop. Who am I thinking? Oh, LaMelo Ball.
Is he a shooter like that?
I
He's
mean,
on the court.
Yeah. He'd be Derrick Rose.
I think it's about time for wrap up, Ren.
Yeah.
I'm reading through these just for me. I've kind of been distracted for the past like 30 seconds. Like it's interesting to like go down.
That's wrap up time. That's wrap up time, man. Come on. That one guy cooked. Let him have his moment.
That's a good way to end it. Hey, if you like what we do here, follow us on whatever platform you're on. Ring the notifications so you get notifications of when we are posting. There was no football episode this week. Personal reasons. Deal with it. There will be one next
Ren, you're
week.
starting to sound like me.
What? No, I mean, they don't need to know. There was no football episode for reasons. Deal with it. There will be one next week, correct?
That is the plan currently.
That is the plan.
We'll do one, Angelo, if something
happens.
Okay.
Yeah,
if I got Austin, yes.
Okay, so regardless, there will be a football episode next week. So deal with that. You will not have one this week.
They already did. It was supposed to drop Thursday.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. This previous week. Listen, follow us on socials at No Reserves on all platforms. Alex has taken over those and is doing a good job because Austin sucks. Austin.
Agreed.
Austin,
wow.
you came up to visit our neck of the woods.
I did.
We rode roller coasters.
We did.
Food.
We did.
You almost died twice, actually.
I did. Wasn't on Banshee, though.
No, oh God.
It was not on the bench.
I'm not touching that one.
Yeah, same.
I almost did.
It's
though.
Ohio. What's new?
My little like shoulder straps got really tight and like I couldn't breathe, and we sat there for like 10 minutes.
Does it really take that long for the bench?
No. So like when you get to the end, like the brake run right before you unload, like when they're loading the next train and you're just parked behind them.
Oh, that took forever.
It took forever to get through that, and like the Banshee, like as you go, like it clicks more and more tighter.
Mystic Timbers took a long time too.
Yeah.
Mystic Timbers actually look like the most fun.
That's the one I almost threw up on. Like it was real close. Like it's a fun one. It's one of my favorites, but just the up and down motions.
Sure.
But it does have the worst ending because you have to sit in that stupid shed until the whole thing plays, and it takes forever. And
what was the one that ended near the water?
Near the water?
Yeah, the one that you spray the water up at the end.
Oh, that's Diamondback. That's the first. That's the one we did first. Yeah, that used to be my favorite. Now it's Orion. That was freaking tall. That was great. What else? I think that's it. Go ahead and wrap us up.
Okay. Follow us on socials. Subscribe on YouTube. We have Patreon and other forms of monetization. We don't have ads yet. We may have them in the future. So, regardless, thank you guys for all you do. Ren's a dickhead, and we'll see you guys later.
See ya.